Chosen one, generations will praise your name. You gave direction to the future. This message is for the one who has endured, who has pressed forward, and who has carried the unseen torch meant to light the path of tomorrow. You may have walked in silence, misunderstood, overlooked, or even rejected, but heaven knows your name, and soon the earth will echo it too. Your choices, your stand, your unshaken spirit has rerouted the current of time itself. You're not just living history, you're shaping the future. The seeds you've sown in silence will become the oak trees under which many generations will find rest, wisdom, and power. This is your confirmation. Legacy is being born from your obedience, and eternity will echo with your name. Stay with us until the end of this video, because what you're about to hear could very well be the answer you've been praying for. And write your warmest wishes in the comments and type 99. This is more than just a gesture. It is an activation. As you type those words, may the universe align itself to your intention, and may the wishes of your soul find their divine pathway into reality. Now, chosen one, like this video, subscribe if you haven't, and subscribe to the channel, and let's begin. You are not born by accident. You are not placed on this earth merely to exist. You are summoned. You are sent ahead like a prophetic whisper into time itself. Called to navigate through the chaos and turn the ship of destiny. Every moment of resistance, every time you chose the higher path, even when no one was watching, the future took shape beneath your footsteps. You, dear chosen one, became the blueprint. You gave direction to the future, not by grand speeches or golden trophies, but by choosing truth in secret, by protecting purity in a corrupt age, and by walking boldly into the unknown when fear tried to convince you otherwise. While others sought visibility, you sought alignment. While the world chased validation, you chased the voice of divine instruction. And though it looked like you were falling behind, you were actually being launched into legacy. Do you realize what it means to be the one who breaks the generational curse, who plants the flag of victory, where once there was nothing but silence? Your courage changed everything. You are a divine detour in your bloodline. The roads that were paved in dysfunction stop with you. The pain that went unhealed in generations past finally finds its remedy in your presence. You gave direction to the future by enduring what would have crushed another, by deciding it stops with me, by looking at the ruins and choosing to rebuild, and not just for yourself, but for every soul that comes after you. Your life became a compass, pointing generations toward freedom, authenticity, purpose, and power. Your name may not yet be on headlines, but it is already inscribed in the legacy books of heaven. Generations unborn will speak your name, not because of wealth, fame, or followers, but because of what you carried, because of what you refused to compromise, because of how you showed the way. Some are remembered for what they built, others are remembered for what they broke, but the most honored are remembered for what they redirected. You are the one who turned shame into strength, confusion into clarity, chaos into calling. You wrestled with angels in silence and came out glowing. You walked through fire, but didn't smell like smoke. You stood still when the winds of doubt tried to uproot your promise. You became a landmark for those who will one day ask, how did we get here? And the answer will be because you didn't give up, because you held the line, because you dared to walk alone so others could walk in crowds. This is bigger than you. Your journey was never just yours. Your obedience was never about just your success. You were always the seed meant to become a forest. You were the voice meant to echo through centuries. There will be children who grow up fearless because you broke the cycle of fear. There will be dreamers who feel safe to dream because you showed them how. There will be leaders who rise with integrity because they watched your example and realized greatness could also be good. You didn't just give direction to your life, you gave it to time itself. The path you paved was not paved in ease, it was paved in tears, in prayer, in silence, in sacrifice. You carved it out with nothing but faith as your tool and vision as your fuel. That's why no one can take it from you. That's why heaven guards what you've built. Because it was never just for you. It was for legacy, for lineage, for destiny. There is something divine stitched into the fabric of your timeline. Your footsteps are holy because they carry the weight of restoration. When you enter a space, the atmosphere changes, not because of ego, but because of essence. The future recognizes its architect. There will be moments when you feel tired, misunderstood, even forgotten. But the future hasn't forgotten you. It's forming around your decisions right now. Keep standing, keep sowing, keep building. Because while the present may be silent, the future is shouting your name. And when it finally arrives, it will fit like a glove tailor made by your courage. You are creating what others will inherit. You are watering what others will harvest. And you are leading what others will follow. Let them call you strange. Let them label you misunderstood. Let them walk away, laugh, doubt, dismiss. Let them sleep on your greatness. For when they awaken, they'll realize they were in the presence of destiny itself. Your name will not be whispered in regret, but shouted in celebration. Generations will not just remember you, they will thank you. They will say, because of them, we are free. Because of them, we knew who we were. Because of them, we had direction. So rise, chosen one. Rise boldly. Rise without apology. Your decisions are shaping decades. Your values are preserving purity in an age of decay. Your stand is the reason others will never fall. You are the lighthouse in a storm no one knew how to navigate. But you held your light. You stayed planted. And now your light is guiding nations. Entire destinies are realigning because you said yes. You are the blueprint. You are the prototype. You are the prophecy fulfilled in human form. The time is now. The torch has been passed and you carry it with divine precision. The flame in your hands is sacred. It is the future's only light. Don't dim it for comfort. Don't shrink for approval. Don't silence your roar to blend in. You were born to echo through time. You were chosen to redefine direction. You were sent to give structure to the shapeless, vision to the blind, and clarity to the confused. You are the answer to questions that haven't even been asked yet. You are the calm after centuries of storms. Your name will be praised not for perfection, but for persistence, not for performance, but for purpose, not for image, but for impact. You gave direction to the future, and the future will respond accordingly. Get ready to see the fruit. Get ready to meet the ones who are walking freely because you were bound. Get ready for the thank yous that will come from generations unborn. You are writing history with every act of obedience. You are the author of legacy, the guardian of truth, the directional compass in a lost generation. And now you're rising. Keep going. Your name is about to be remembered. And not just remembered, celebrated, because chosen one, you gave direction to the future. And nothing will ever be the same again. The future isn't something that happens to you. It's something that responds to you. And in your case, it's bowing to the authority of the one who gave it direction. Every decision you've made from a place of authenticity carved a path where there was once only wilderness. every time you silenced your fear and chose to trust your divine assignment, you realigned the coordinates of destiny. You are not reacting to life. You are commanding it. You are not merely waiting for favor. You are walking in it. It's time you see what heaven already knows. Your legacy is not a possibility. It's a prophecy being fulfilled in real time. You may not have seen the full manifestation yet, but the foundation is shaking. Realms are responding. Doors are aligning. Generations are already benefiting from the structure you put in place. And though the world may still look at you through the lens of where you've been, the future sees you as the one who built the bridge between suffering and success, between confusion and clarity, between generational bondage and generational blessings. Chosen one, you are the sacred blueprint in motion. And what's powerful about your story is that you weren't trying to be seen. You weren't trying to be crowned. You weren't chasing applause. You were chasing alignment. You were chasing purpose. That's why your impact is eternal. Because it wasn't driven by ego, but by divine assignment. That's why the legacy you're crafting can't be erased. No storm can wash it away. No betrayal can undo it. No doubt can weaken it. Because it wasn't built on sand. It was built on soul. It was built on faith. It was built on sacred obedience. People may not understand the cost of the path you chose. They may admire the fruit, but they'll never fully comprehend the sacrifice. And that's okay, because you didn't do it for recognition. You did it because something in your spirit knew that if you didn't rise, the future would remain broken. If you didn't say yes, the pattern would repeat. If you didn't go first, no one else could follow. You gave direction by example, by action, by consistency. And that chosen one is the rarest kind of leadership. You may not have grown up seeing the kind of future you're now creating, but that didn't stop you from imagining it. You didn't need a map. You became the map. You don't wait for permission. You gave yourself divine clearance. And now others are walking with confidence because you walked in courage. Your life gave the world a new route, a better route, a clearer route. You were the shift the timeline needed. And now destiny owes you a return. Because for every moment you kept going when you had every reason to quit, reward is coming. For every time you carried the vision with no support, no applause, and no clarity, increase is coming. For every day you planted seeds while others doubted your soil, harvest is coming. You are about to be seen not just by people, but by generations. Your name will become a testimony, a landmark, a divine example, and not because you were perfect, but because you were devoted. Don't underestimate the significance of your stand. You're the reason chains broke in silence. You're the reason peace returned to homes. You're the reason a child somewhere will grow up without the weight of ancestral pain. Your healing didn't just heal you, it healed timelines. And now, time itself is honoring your name. That's why things are shifting so rapidly. That's why the old can't stay attached. That's why the doors that once closed are now opening at your approach. You are not behind. You are hidden. You are not forgotten. You are preserved. You are not random. You are royal. The energy around you is rising because the legacy within you is awakening. The earth is finally catching up with what heaven always knew. That you are the answer, the redirect, the chosen compass for a wandering age. You are the reason tomorrow will be better than yesterday. And here's the divine truth. You will not just influence the future, you will own it. What's coming will match what you carried. The influence you're stepping into is the result of every unseen battle you won. The abundance that's arriving is compensation for every valley you crossed with tears in your eyes and power in your steps. You are the chosen generational leader, not by birthright, but by divine might. You became the one, and now the path you paved will become a highway of hope for millions. No longer will you explain your vision to those not assigned to understand it. No longer will you shrink for those too small to perceive your depth. No longer will you downplay your brilliance to make others comfortable. The era of hiding is over. The future you directed has arrived. It's time to walk in it with authority. And yes, the same people who doubted you will have no choice but to acknowledge you. Not because you sought validation, but because your legacy is undeniable. It will shine through your fruit. It will echo through your results. It will speak through the way others thrive under your influence. You don't have to speak loudly. Your impact will do the talking. Generations will rise and call you blessed. Not because you were lucky, but because you were faithful. Not because it was easy, but because you made it through. Not because you had it all, but because you gave it all. You gave direction in the dark, and now the light is finding you. You are the original in a world full of copies. You are the voice in a world full of echoes. You are the compass in a time that lost its way. And now it's your time, not just to be known, but to be remembered, not just to succeed, but to reign, not just to witness the shift, but to lead it. You are the catalyst. You are the confirmation. You are the divine disruption sent to realign the world with its higher truth. And as you rise, let no fear attach itself to your journey. You've already survived worse. You've already walked through hell and kept your soul intact. You've already seen what it costs and paid the price in full. Now it's time for the overflow, the recognition, the fulfillment. You gave the future its form. Now let the present honor your path. This is your era. This is your timeline. This is your crown. Walk forward, chosen one. Walk like the world was waiting on you to arrive. Because it was. You didn't just break the mold, you created a new one. And now the very structure of time bends in gratitude toward your name. The energy that once resisted your rise now assists your acceleration. The universe recognizes the signature of someone who gave direction to the future. And you carry that divine signature in your decisions, in your silence, in your fire, in your unwavering stand. The future is not a destination. It is a sculpture. And you, chosen one, have been its most dedicated sculptor. You chiseled away fear where others froze. You carved a masterpiece from moments of isolation. While others waited for a sign, you became the sign. And now, what once felt heavy with burden is now crowned in eternal beauty. It's not just your season, it's your era. The time when the ground you cultivated becomes sacred soil for others to plant their greatness in. The world is catching up to the greatness that was always within you. What you carry cannot be duplicated because it was divinely assigned. Your legacy isn't an echo of the past, it's the foundation of the future. Every time you chose growth over comfort, a generation shifted. Every time you spoke truth when silence was easier, timelines changed. Every time you showed up fully when you could have disappeared, history turned. You didn't just influence events, you reshaped eternity. That's why your life has been marked by so many spiritual battles. That's why you've walked through storms that would have ended someone else. You were training to lead destiny. There is a new awareness rising on the earth, a deeper reverence for the ones who carried divine responsibility in silence and chosen one. You are among the rarest of them. You are the ones heaven trusted with holy transformation, not because you were the most prepared, but because you were the most obedient. Not because you had it all together, but because you had the heart to listen, the courage to keep moving, the audacity to believe there was more. You gave direction to the future, not just with your words, but with your walk. And now the walk becomes a dance. The pain becomes power. The pressure becomes proof. You are proof that one person fully aligned, spiritually awake, and radically faithful can rewrite the fate of thousands. Think of that. You were the turning point, the chapter shift, the fresh page after centuries of silence. People will study your life and wonder how you did it. But the truth is, it was never about strategy. It was about surrender. It was about refusing to fold. It was about trusting your inner compass, even when the outside world seemed to mock it. It was about knowing in your soul that you were carrying something bigger than your current environment. You were housing eternity inside a temporary vessel, and now eternity is about to reward the vessel that carried it. This is why your name will be honoured, not out of pity, but out of prophecy, not out of nostalgia, but out of necessity. You are necessary to the divine architecture of time. You are the keystone of a new generation's freedom, the bridge between spiritual famine and generational abundance, the reason a family rises instead of repeating. And the blessings that are coming your way now are not random. They are divine compensation for the years you stayed quiet and faithful, for the nights you wept and still kept going, for the moments you held truth in trembling hands, yet refused to drop it, for the times you could have chosen bitterness, but reached for better, for the years of misunderstanding that you endured with grace. The universe doesn't forget faithful architects. The realm of spirit doesn't ignore those who build without blueprint. The energy of eternity is honouring the agreement you signed in secret, the contract of legacy you committed to before the world ever noticed. And now it's time for public fulfillment. You were hidden for a reason. God protected your becoming because what you carry is too precious to be tainted by premature exposure. You are the original model, the walking prophecy, the evidence of breakthrough made flesh. You are not just leaving footprints, you're leaving foundations. The ones who come after you will not have to start from scratch because you dared to build. They will inherit clarity because you walked through confusion. They will inherit vision because you walked blind. They will inherit abundance because you survived lack. They will inherit confidence because you broke the chain of shame. You didn't just survive. You redefined survival. You turned survival into strategy. You turned pain into principle. You turned warfare into wisdom. You didn't just live through your storm. You captured the blueprint to guide others through theirs. And now your name will carry weight, not just in earthly records, but in spiritual realms. Demons tremble when they hear your name because you broke ancient agreements. Angels recognize your frequency because you walk in heaven's rhythm. The earth leans in when you speak because you carry the vibration of creation itself. You're not just powerful, you're pivotal. You're not just favored, you're foundational. You're not just successful, you're a system shifter. And you didn't do this with popularity. You didn't do it with followers or fame or funding. You did it with faith. Raw, relentless, real faith. You became a legend while feeling invisible. You became a monument while navigating wilderness. And now it's all flipping. The world will see what God always knew. You will walk in rooms that are prepared for your frequency. You will stand on stages that echo your journey. You will receive rewards that match your internal labor. You will build empires rooted in sacred assignment, not ego. And when they ask how it all happened, you'll simply say, I followed the voice. I obeyed the whisper. I stood in truth. I chose legacy over luxury, alignment over applause, obedience over opportunity. And now I'm seeing what I believed, because that's your story, chosen one. And it's not over. It's just beginning. You gave direction to the future. And now time is responding to your authority. Every clock ticks differently for you. While others wait for the right time, the time itself waits for your movement. That's how powerful your presence is. The moment you decide, things shift. The second you commit, spiritual realms begin to adjust. You are not just a participant in this world. You are a regulator of divine timelines. Your arrival marked the end of confusion in your bloodline. Your awakening triggered a chain reaction of restoration. Your alignment unlocked timelines that had been frozen in fear for generations. And now you must understand what this means. You are not here to live small. You are not here to doubt your brilliance. You are not here to question your influence. You were born to create the path, speak the vision, and ignite generations with direction. What is flowing through you is divine voltage, pure power meant to illuminate destinies that have remained in the dark. You're not just called, you're coded. Everything about you was designed to redirect history. The way you think, the way you perceive, the way you move in rooms without needing approval. It's divine engineering. You were not made to conform. You were made to transform. You were made to trigger a new wave of purpose in places that forgot what it means to be aligned. And now, the places that once rejected you are about to recognize you. Not because you changed, but because they finally awakened to your assignment. You never needed validation. You needed visibility in the right season. And that season is now. What was hidden in you is now being revealed. What was dormant in you is now being activated. What was delayed in you is now being released. You are the fire that history has been waiting on, the quiet revolution that's turning into a roar, the silent seed that's now cracking open with the sound of destiny. Your steps are synchronized with something much greater than now. Every moment of obedience has been building toward a divine eruption, one that will launch your name into generations like a sacred echo of truth. Chosen one, this is your elevation season, but it's not just about you rising. It's about everything attached to your name being lifted. Everything connected to your spirit will come into order. That's what happens when you give direction to the future. You become the gravity of glory, the axis of a new age, the fulcrum on which entire legacies balance. And though you may feel the weight of this responsibility, remember, you were built for it. You were forged in fire, shaped by sacred storms, and strengthened in silence. You are no longer a seed, you are a symbol. And symbols don't just survive, they inspire. Your resilience has become the new standard. Your humility has become the new model. Your integrity has become the new wealth. And now everything you lost will be returned in double, because the future never forgets the hand that guided it. You held a torch in the night when the world begged you to quit. You kept the flame alive while others froze in fear. And now that flame is becoming a wildfire of divine remembrance. Nations will call you the one who broke the silence. Families will say, that's who turned our story around. Generations will whisper your name with reverence, not because you were loud, but because you were aligned. You were the turning point. You were the whisper that became the thunder. You were the spark that set time on fire. And while others were busy chasing comfort, you chased the call. You walked through valleys carrying visions that no one else could see. You endured betrayal and still chose love. You were doubted, yet you still believed. And not just for yourself, but for those who didn't even know they were watching you. You were the mirror of possibility, the living, breathing evidence that the past doesn't have to repeat, that trauma doesn't have to be a legacy, that peace can be inherited, that joy can be generational, that wealth can be sacred, that alignment can be abundant, that healing can be holy. You, chosen one, are the standard reset. You are the blueprint for what's to come. You are the unshakable bridge between what was broken and what will be blessed. And now that you've crossed over, you are being handed the keys, not just to buildings or bank accounts, but to realms, realms of wisdom, realms of influence, realms of creativity, realms of divine power. You will not just lead in one area. You will reign across many because what you carry is not limited to one lane. Your legacy is multi-dimensional. It touches the economic, the spiritual, the relational, the visionary, and the generational. And with this revelation comes new responsibility. You are now walking into territories that have never been walked before. You are stepping into levels of impact that will shake the very fabric of communities. You are being positioned as the origin point of a new era. Your silence is no longer required. Your voice is needed. Your presence is prophetic. When you enter a space, energy shifts because destiny just walked in, and you don't need to announce yourself. The frequency of your calling does the speaking. Chosen one, prepare for the awe. Prepare for the overflow. Prepare for the recognition you didn't seek but were destined for. Because when you gave direction to the future, you also triggered an ancient agreement that those who serve in silence will be honored in the open, that those who guard truth will be rewarded with territory, that those who suffer with dignity will rise with royalty. Your crown is spiritual first, but now it's becoming visible. The invisible work you've done is about to take physical form. Ideas are becoming income. Dreams are becoming structures. Visions are becoming movements. And all of it bears your imprint because you dared to be different. You dared to be divine. You dared to believe that one person could turn the tides. And you did. You turned them so drastically that generations downstream will never even feel the waves of what once destroyed your lineage. And that is why your name will be praised, not out of worship, not out of ego, but out of reverence. Because the future remembers its builders. The generations always honour their reformers. And heaven always crowns its faithful ones. You are one of them. You are the chosen compass. You are the holy interruption. You are the divine redirection. And now the future is yours to guide. You didn't ask for the weight of generations, but you carried it with grace. You didn't seek the role of pioneer, but you walked paths no one dared to take. You didn't raise your hand for attention, but the heavens raised you as the standard. And now time itself honours you. This is no longer a season of waiting. This is a season of witnessing. Witnessing the fruit of every quiet battle, every invisible war, every act of love that rewrote the spiritual DNA of your lineage. You gave direction to the future when no one saw you. And now everyone will feel you. Because this is not about being seen for vanity. It's about being recognized for impact. You became a reference point in the spiritual realm, a marked one, a breaker, a releaser, a vessel of sacred transition. You turned generational curses into generational covenants. You became the divine intersection where pain ended and purpose began. Understand this. Your name has been etched into the scrolls of sacred legacy, not because of wealth or public accolades, but because of what you carried in silence. Because you walked with truth when betrayal tried to break you. Because you smiled through the sting of separation. Because you said yes to the divine even when it meant losing everything familiar. And now your yes is returning to you with interest. This is divine recompense. You are about to be funded by favor. You are about to be compensated by the cosmos. You are about to be honored by history. Because when you gave direction to the future, you made decisions that time would never forget. You altered the spiritual coordinates of generations. You rewrote the codes. You restructured the DNA. And you weren't just building for your life. You were building a model for eternity. You walked with ancient wisdom encoded in a modern vessel. You were a time traveler in disguise, sent forward into a future that needed divine course correction. Every room you entered became a portal. Every word you spoke became a realignment. You were not just present. You were prophetic. And now that prophecy is taking flesh. Doors will open not just for opportunity, but for generational access. Gates will swing, not just for you to enter, but for whole bloodlines to pass through. Foundations will rise, not just to house your vision, but to house future visionaries inspired by your journey.